Hi everyone, this is Layla. I am going to go through a simple and quick tutorial. If you received a starter kit that I put together for you with a scrap journal album, pages, some papers, also some decorative embellishments, as well as a tape runner, a pen, and some other adhesives. So I'll start from the beginning. First, we're all familiar with the pen, so I'll set that aside. Um, when you receive your album, it's going to be inside a plastic cover. So I took that off. This one is an orange album cover. And when you open it, you will always see instructions on how to put together your pages. This is called a strap hinge album. So it does show you step by step how to go through. The album is just a cover. It does not come with the pages inserted, so we'll go through that later, actually in a second video. This cardboard is just to keep that stable. So this is what the album looks like without the pages in it. You'll see the straps on both sides. Just a quick, so you can see, this actually slips off. So that's how we access and can get in and add pages. So that's just for reference. It just easily slips in on both sides. I'm probably not going to do this very well on the camera. But it slips back in between the hinges and the covers. So once you get it in, it just slides back in and it fits, and that's what the reason that we have that removable is, so it can be expandable, so you can add more pages. So we'll go through that in another video, but I wanted to move on. This is, I've already opened everything. So you'll see these. These are called refill pages. So they are front and back, and they're made of a cardstock. And then this little more sturdy edges are called jeeping, sort of like the Jeep that you drive around in. So jeeping on the edges. And then there are two really sturdy staples. And those staples are what go into the album and connect to those straps. So the staples, slide into the straps. But again, first, that is the last step, so I think we're not going to go through that right now. Refill pages, those can be used literally just like this. If you have photos and you want to make it really quick and simple, you can put your pages in your photos in whichever direction you want. Although most people look at an album like a book in this direction, it's really small. So if you have photos and everything's fitting in this direction better, it's a small enough album that you could flip pages this way, opening the album this way. So keep that in mind when you're going through with your pages. So I'm going to set the pages aside. The second thing that you'll see, again, these will be shrink wrapped, and it's going to look like two pieces of cardboard, but don't throw this away because these are really important. These are to protect your pages, so these are called page protectors, and they're sturdy. They're really thin though, so you'll see the top and bottom is crimped, and so those are not to come apart. When you're finished decorating and adding your photos to the page, these, it takes a little bit of finagling to go through, but these slide on, and that's what protects it from moisture, dust, fingerprints, etc. So both sides will have photos, and now they'll be inside of a protective page protector. So like I said, when you see this shrink wrapped, it looks like cardboard, don't throw those away, because that is just as many page protectors as you received refill pages. Okay, this is just an example. You may not have received this exact design of paper, but a scrap journal comes with 12 designer. It's a designer paper pack. So this is just the cover sheet, but it is an photo safe paper. So even though this looks like the decorative one, a lot of us will use the backside. It's a white piece of paper and it's photo safe, so you can use it in your album. Anyway, we'll move on to the decorative pieces. So the designer papers come with 12. They're double-sided, so they'll always be, hopefully they're in order. And so you can decide if you want to use, sometimes you're not, you might be a fan of some of the designs, but you can use whichever side you want. You can cut these. You're going to use the paper to design your pages. So we'll pull a page out here, and I'll do one as an example. If you want to be really quick, if you like this paper, I kind of like this design, and you just want to use it as your background, you'll see it fits perfectly in between the jeeping on both sides. So in your kit, you would have received tape runner. This has a little protective slider here on the bottom. That is the part, just so you know, right now it's closed, but that's your indicator that this is the part that goes towards the paper. This little dial, rarely will you need to use that, but the dial is if you want to slide the tape runner. It goes on a little pulley system inside. So we're going to do this as an example. Let's say I've decided I really like this. I want my page in my album to look like this. So I'll flip this over, use my tape runner, put some in each corner, maybe a little bit on the sides. I like to just sort of put a few in the center as well. Now, this is called repositionable tape. It has tiny little dots. I'm not sure if you can see that, but just tiny little dots. So multiple dots. And when you adhere it, if you attach this, let's say that you're not stable and you get it, it's crooked. It's not on right. The nice thing about repositionable is for several hours, on sometimes even up to a day, it's repositionable. You can move it around, but it does over time become permanent. So if you do want to make changes, you want to do that within a few hours really is best. So I just make sure I have it lined up on my page and press. And that tape runner, now this has become a part of my page. So if I am ready with photos, I can always, these are large photos, but sometimes I have, let's see what I have. Sometimes I have smaller photos. We do have some tools to cut them in different shapes. But again, if you're doing this in a simple fashion, feel free to just use a pair of scissors. I usually have extras. These are photo corners. So if you wanted, let's see if I have a piece of paper here. I'm going to use a piece of paper instead of these photos because I'm not sure what I'm doing with these yet. But if you slide them in, it then rounds the edge of your photos. So some people are a fan of rounded edges instead of the sharp edges. If you don't have the tool and you don't want to do that, these square rectangle shape is perfectly fine. So you just want to attach your photos, maybe trim them. Again, you can trim them with scissors. We do have photo trimmers that I can show. I have a couple of different types of photo trimmers, but they are this guillotine paper cutter. So they have measurements. You always want to be really safe and make sure you do not have your fingers near, because that will chop a finger off. So you would line it up where you want it, paying attention there. I'm not going to cut this one. And then you just slide it down. So there's always that. I do have extras. If we're getting together, I can certainly give you one to use for the day. But if you have scissors, trim them. I also want to show, some people may have these from a long time ago. These are decorative scissors. I always thought they were fun. They are a quick and easy way to give a unique edge to something. So see how it gives a decorative look to the edge of that piece of paper. How would you use that? That's probably a question. If you're creating a strip, let's say this is one of the decorative, and you want to have some journal boxes, some areas that you want to write on and put some notes. Sometimes, this isn't really the best example I'll put it up against, but sometimes if you have that sticking out with the little decorative edge, it just looks a little bit like an old-fashioned journal. So you can decorate however you want. A lot of times you will receive tape chips. These are, you lift them entirely off of the paper, so you'll feel the adhesive. So what you would do is stick that onto the photo like that, and then you'll see the little instructions, peel here. When you lift that off and remove it, now it's a double-sided piece of tape basically. So a lot of people enjoy these. These are one of the original type of products that Creative Memories had, and so tape chips are a quick and easy way, and everything with Creative Memories is always photo safe. So acid-free, lignin-free products, which helps preserve the photos and the memories. So if you don't have photo tape chips, then you can use this tape runner as well. You just do like I did on the paper, and then you would attach it, flip it over, and attach it onto the page. So decorating is up to you. In your kit, you may have also, and when I say kit, that just means the